Welcome to the Rich Stylist Podcast. I'm Ashley Diana, business coach for hair extension pros and founder of Rich Stylist Academy. I'll be your guide as you begin to attract your dream clients, create amazing extension transformations, and have your bank account overflowing with cash. Let's go. We're back. Season 2. No, season 2.5.
Yes, ma'am.
Myself, the queen, Miss Meehan. We are back.
Extensionologist.
We have changed our scene. We've changed our background. We changed our vibe. We changed our style.
We are on 10 right now.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And we're going to spill the tea about something that has been pissing us off.
Ugh.
So we are going to talk about this so Caitlin doesn't lose her shit on this episode today. We actually had a couple other topics that we were planning on filming, but then we got sideswiped with this conversation.
We did.
And we said we need to start today with filming this topic.
Yes.
Which is, your location is not an excuse for why you're not successful or why you're not as successful as you want to be. You can literally have any type of business that you want no matter where you live in the world. Small town, big city, country, it doesn't matter.
Let us say it louder for the people in the back.
You go ahead.
Because if you think for 1 second that where you live determines your success or how much money you can make, you are making an excuse for yourself. Look in the mirror, have a hard conversation. You are making an excuse for yourself. And you know, and we're going to tell the people, this is my story. And that's why I get so invested in this conversation. This is my story. So I'll be damned if someone's going to tell me
that's right
that I'm not going to be successful because of where I live.
You have
and
the
I'm
most
not going to let you know that.
Yeah, you have the most incredible story, and it is truly the perfect example of you didn't let a story or a stereotype or what someone could have told you about the hair industry or hairstylists in general or where you live hold you back. Because imagine if you had, okay, go ahead and tell the story. Because imagine if you had the different mindset where you would not be today.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
So we are about to go down the path of the she shed. I think we talked a little bit about it a few episodes ago, but for those of you who haven't listened or just want to get a deeper dive into it, first and foremost, I live in a beach town. Right? Anybody who lives in a beach town understands this, or anybody who's vacationed at a beach town understands this. Wintertime, the population dies off, completely. 50% of our population leaves.
Sure.
So we're already talking about real small town vibes. And when I joke about the she shed, it's not a joke.
It was an actual shed.
It was an actual shed.
She shed actually sounds cute.
Right. She shed became popular with that stupid commercial however long ago, right?
Well, now if you search on Pinterest, if you look up she
shed,
yeah, it's just it's basically a girl's room. You know how men have the man cave or whatever, but they a she shed.
We're not talking about that
or a place on your property.
We are talking about a shed where you put your garden tools.
Probably if you trace it back. If we go back to where it came from, you'll find Caitlin Meehan.
Probably.
With her she shed.
Yes.
In Jersey.
Absolutely. So, again, super small town. And there was a sign that was for rent on this really pretty Victorian building. So I go in and I'm oh, maybe there's a room in here that's for rent for me starting my own salon when I was 17 years old. Context.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm young.
Okay.
And I'm there's nothing in my beach town.
17 starting your hair business is quite young.
It was super young. I was still in hair school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So I go in and I'm I'm really interested. Where's this room, right? He's back of the parking lot.
Oh.
The shed is for rent. Just for storage.
Okay.
I go in. It is a shed. Ash, it has 2x4s.
Here's my thing. I want to know the guy's mindset who owned the property. That he was had the balls to be yeah, the shed back there, it's for rent.
Well, what he said was,
so I need to know that
he
too.
Didn't have the balls for the conversation because he's it's a shed for storage. Are you interested in storing your lawnmower or something, right? It's storage.
For just someone who
For someone, yeah.
He
just had this thing.
Okay.
And, I didn't give him any context because Like, I'm telling you.
Well, first you thought it was a room in the house.
First I thought it was a room in the house, but I was like, okay, let's go look at the shed. And I go back there, 2x4s, exposed wood, nothing. And
what color was it? The outside. Was it Victorian style?
No, it's a shed, Ashley.
It wasn't even like a Victorian. Okay, even I'm having a rude awakening.
Okay, it is a shed. We will have to like put up a picture. I have a picture, right?
We're gonna need to put up a picture. We're gonna put this on YouTube, so we'll put a picture up.
Yes. So, I said to him, I was like, I'll take it. Like, also context, he was renting it for $300 a month.
Okay.
So it is a shed.
An actual shed.
It's a shed.
At least you wouldn't have gotten rained on.
No, but there's no running water.
Okay.
It is a shed.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'll take it, but can I make it a salon? And this man looked at me like I had 45
Did he go cross-eyed?
heads. First of all, this man's like, he owns the building, but he's an accountant.
Okay.
So he's like,
you were very out of the box for him.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to make this a salon. It's a storage shed, lady. Like, what are you talking about?
I love your vision, though. Like, come on.
It was the grind.
Yeah.
It was the grind. And I was like, this is what I could afford.
Yeah.
This is what I could afford. This space is what I could afford. So he agreed. I went to town with some power tools. I laid down hardwood flooring.
Girl.
Not hardwood, like the clicking
stuff. Yeah. No, I mean, but any of it. Like, don't hand me a power tool. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yep, I did. My dad's an electrician, so he put some electricity in it. I want to just jump forward for an understanding, and we can talk more about the she shed. But 2 years later, I made my first $500,000 in that building.
$500,000 from the she shed.
Yeah.
And you didn't paint it pink. You didn't do any of you didn't on the outside.
Ashley,
was there rhinestones on the outside, or was there?
There wasn't even a sign. There wasn't even a sign. I had to in the confirmation emails, because we were talking before text message days,
and
right?
Before social media. Yeah.
In the confirmation emails, I had to give direction, no, I'm behind this building. You're gonna be confused. This is where I am. Plus, prep your own hair, because I have no running water.
Sure.
Okay. So it was okay,
but let's talk about that a little bit more, because again, you had no running water. You had people, again, we are fast forwarding a little bit, but you had people coming in, traveling in, flying in. That's what I thought. To come to literally your shed.
We are speeding things up here a bit, right? Because I was in cosmetology school when this was happening.
Yes.
So I just wanted a space. We are kind of jumping forward that I only specialized in extensions.
Yes.
So this space was only going to be extensions. For people who are listening, I wasn't doing color. I didn't need a shampoo bowl.
Sure.
So I had to be innovative. And of course, I don't want to say fake it till you make it type of thing, because my skill level was there. But I had to pitch this whole...
You had to own it.
I am so booked that I don't have time to wash your hair beforehand. So you need to come prepped and ready.
Sure.
That's how I took the internal persona of who I was being, this confident space that I was in. That is how I projected it to people, so that they took me as seriously as I was taking myself. And it's almost like when you're not booked, but you say I'm booked until this certain point.
Sure.
You almost had to build the desire through a little bit of white lying. When you're young, when you're starting out.
Well, my thing is here's what I would say. I would say that was your policy.
Yeah.
Own your policy.
That's what I said. Yeah.
That's your policy. You come with your hair.
Yes. And if anybody asked, I was saying, I'm booked back to back. This is just not a service we offer. It's something. And at the consultation, I was giving them really luxury at-home prep bags.
Sure.
So I was giving them a clarifying shampoo. I had these really pretty cards made of how to prep your own hair and how to come to me.
And
so it felt like a luxurious experience.
Exactly.
It did.
You were walking them through it. They knew what to expect. It wasn't walking in blindly into a shed.
I knew that because of my location.
Sure.
Because, right, like there's a point where you're giving yourself excuses and there's a point of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my location, I needed to up the ante a little bit. They were coming to a shed. So how was I going to make these people who are coming to a shed feel like they wanted to spend the amount of money that I was asking for? So I made these like really pretty take-home bags, but I also made the experience inside of the shed one that people were really taken back by. So we had like champagne in the shed. Like we can go into this in like a later date, but I customized every experience for every person that walked through the door. So like, what can I do and change the environment to cater to that specific client that I learned on an intake form during consultation for their like installation service.
Yes. Exactly.
So I really made like the environment of the space
personalized,
meet the expectation of the price point I was charging. So,
and that's important.
Super important, because if you do have like, we'll talk about this, but your clientele was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have clients in Vegas, they're almost like expecting a level of like luxury.
One would think.
Yes. One would think.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. People, I would say, especially people outside of Vegas, like stylists that we talk to sometimes that are taking a look at Rich Stylist Academy, I said before, Ashley does hair in Vegas, or so-and-so, other stylists, so-and-so does hair in this big city, and this big city. And it's like, they have an expectation or they have an idea of what that is like and what every customer or client is like. And it's not necessarily the case. But the interesting thing is that 3/4 of my clientele, even though I lived in Vegas, they flew in. They weren't Vegas locals. Right. They weren't, I just created the experience for them.
I feel like we've kind of talked about this off camera, is that there's almost this like expectation when you live in a big city where there's like a lot of pressure on you, but you're almost a needle in a haystack where you have to separate yourself. Yeah. You have to like have exceeding skill level or really separate yourself so that you shine amongst so many people who are going to this big city or live in this big city.
And maybe they do have expectations. Maybe they're looking for something, or like other people are already offering certain things. Sure.
In a smaller location, when people think they have a disadvantage, you actually have an advantage, because there are not
I think so too.
people who are doing and giving a luxury service.
I can't do that. I'm like,
you're standing out.
I beg to differ.
You'll stand out.
Even just a couple things different, and like you'll stand out.
100%. So that's what I really like. Back in the day, I grabbed onto that mentality where I was like, I guess I just always had this like thing about me where like, I'm not going to be who you tell me I'm going to be, first of all.
Yeah.
So if I lived in this small little town.
Let's own that.
Yes.
Because I like that. Because like whether it's your parents or a boss you had or a relationship or a coworker that said like, oh, well, hairstylists can only make so much, or people from this town can only do this, or hairstylists can't only do hair extensions. Like you have to do everything. Right. What do you mean? Who do you think you are? Like, I think that's a really cool thing to own. Whatever people say that, like, isn't possible or you can't do that because of this, be like, well, I'm going to do the opposite.
Right, exactly. I can't tell you how many people, because I specialized in something, which was not a thing back then.
Because, like you, out of hair school, you went all of a sudden to, I'm only doing extensions, straight out of hair school.
Yes. I think we're going to dive into that, like, a little bit deeper. Yeah. But I only did extensions straight from hair school.
Now, I specialize in extensions, and like I wasn't aware of anyone when I decided, fuck it, I'm only doing extensions.
Right. What was your reasoning? What was your reasoning?
Mine was a long time coming. Okay. So I'm really inspired by your story, because it was like straight out of cosmetology school. Yeah. That it's like, I'm only doing extensions.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, spicy. I love that. I really do love that. But I loved extensions from day one when I first saw them. I didn't really know much about extensions when I was in hair school.
Okay.
But briefly, it was like literally glue and wefts.
Oh, gosh.
That's what which I thought were amazing.
Right.
And I glued some wefts in my hair and glued wefts in other
we've been there. We've all been, well, Some 30 and up of us.
Some of us have been there, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have pictures of me with like 24-inch, I think it was like half human, half synthetic glue-in wefts.
100%.
They stayed in like 2 days, and I thought I was a goddess.
Oh, yours, since mine were like, I could not get those out.
Oh,
we were.
You could not get them out.
2 days?
Half of my hair,
like 2 months. Right, exactly.
I don't know.
Like, those were not coming out without the rest of my hair.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. It's not glamorous. It is not glamorous. I specialize in extensions because nothing else really
you went
clicked for
hardcore
me.
into it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but you asked me how I got into it or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, mine was a long time coming. It was about the time where I had Lily, had my child. Mm-hmm. And it was a money in the salon type of thing. Like, how much am I working? What's my time I'm making, like, in the salon? Like, doing extensions made more sense. And the other thing was, like, I liked doing extensions. I loved extensions from the day I saw them. And it really, if I look back, that's all I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I definitely didn't think that was possible. I didn't. Initially.
So it was a real big leap of faith for you too.
Yeah. So when the first thing is when I was working at a salon in Texas, and I hated doing men's hair. People that are getting my emails have probably seen the email of like, I hate men's cuts. Okay. I couldn't stand it, and I wasn't very good at it. Okay. In hair school, I would practice, and it would give me the like fear and anxiety, and I was like, oh, I hate the clippers. Like, they just scared me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the little clippings on me or everywhere. Yeah. And I did them for a while. In it because I thought you had to.
Right.
And if there was a men's haircut on my books, it would like, keep me up at night.
Oh, I hate that.
Finally, I thought this new salon I worked at, I was sort of starting fresh. It was a commission salon. And they asked me, okay, what are the services on your books? And I told them the services on my books, and I left out men's hair. And it was such an awakening moment.
Yeah, I was going to say eye-opening for sure.
It was so eye-opening. And I was like, I really don't. And then they said, okay. I said, do I have to do men's hair? Like, if you don't want to do men's hair, I guess you don't. They were almost like, well, I guess you don't have to. They also had not had anyone say, I'm taking this whole service list off my books.
Yeah.
And I did it. I felt so good. I felt so empowered.
Amazing.
Like, yes. So fast forward quite a few years later. Finally, I was like, okay, now I'm only doing this and this. I can't remember. I just slowly started taking off like service by service off of my service list, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm owning this. I'm only doing extensions, and I didn't know anyone else that was only doing extensions. You and I were like on the same network, but we didn't know each other yet.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It was interesting, but I think you were even like much earlier on,
a few years before. So I started doing extensions behind the chair in 2011.
Okay.
So I think it was a few years ahead of you.
Sure.
But like I said, it was almost like out of necessity, because nothing else was really like clicking for me in hair school. So I was like, this is really the only thing that I like and I'm really good at. I got to make this work. I have to make this work. So we're going to only specialize in this. But I can't tell you how many people, especially like where I grew up, that it was so much, like, I don't want to say hate, but like doubt spewed on me.
Did you know other hairstylists in the community, or were you?
Well, yeah, I was in hair school, and you're in a small town, so yeah, you know all of the other hairstylists essentially. Sure. But everybody was good at color corrections and blonding and all of these really popular services. Like back then, we're talking like before balayage was even a thing, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So highlighting and foiling services, like. No, there was no one else. And this is like inside information, but I think it's like interesting, especially people who are listening from New Jersey. Up until 2 years ago, booth rental was allergic.
Well, yeah, the state was allergic to booth rentals.
Exactly.
I do know this because of people inside of Rich Stylists that are in Jersey. There's a handful of stylists in Jersey, and I'm always like, how are they allergic to booth rental there? They're just so allergic. It's so stupid. Oh, man.
Highly allergic to
That's our new word, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm allergic to that.
Negativity, sorry, allergic to that. I can't.
That's my new affirmation.
Yeah, I'm allergic to that. It's interesting for people who are in New Jersey because in New Jersey, booth rental up until 2 years ago was illegal.
Yeah.
It was literally illegal. You could not do it.
That's insane to me. But yes. Yeah.
So we're talking 2011 here. But there was like a little bit of a loophole with extensions.
So you were like a bandit doing hair.
I was. I was like a speakeasy.
Guys, real quick. Okay. People listening, listen up here. If you hadn't already picked up on why we're sharing this story, it is because it doesn't matter where you live. You can have an incredible business, whether that's offering color and cut services or just specializing in extensions. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yep.
You can make infinite amount of money. Like whatever you want to make, the kind of clients you want to have, like it can happen no matter what. So that's your story. And I have some insights on our next part of this conversation.
Right.
Like as it has to do with social media and such. But you built this and built an incredible hair extension business, not doing color, not doing cuts, like never heard of this type of thing before, specializing in extensions back in 2011.
Yeah.
In a beach town, in a shed, no running water, and you made $500,000.
I did. I mean, a few years later.
Well, but that's a lot of money.
I think though, what I want people who are listening to my story to take away from this is you need to have a tough conversation with yourself. Why do you have this belief? What is the mindset? Like, why do you have this belief? And then B, what is holding you back? Is it just the mindset? Is it just a thought? Or is it your skill level that's holding you back? Is it the experience of the salon that you're giving that's holding you back? And if I were like talking to a friend here, which I am, but you're amazing. You're amazing.
I appreciate that.
If I was giving advice to a friend,
if I wasn't talking to a robot right now, I would tell you the truth. If I was
giving advice to a friend who is not in the position that you are in right now, where you don't need advice at all, but if a friend was asking me for advice in this area, what I would say to them is, let's sit down. You can be sitting alone.
Or stand.
And we want to jot down what we think is holding you back. So what is holding you back? For all of our listeners, what is holding you back? And let's have a harsh reality with ourselves. Is it your skill level? Do you need to go get some more certifications or some second level education? Is it the experience that you're offering in a salon? Is it your marketing?
Do you need to elevate the experience? Yes.
Right. Do you need to elevate the experience? Do you need a better understanding of how to market better? So
because the location itself
has nothing to do with it.
It doesn't have anything to do with it. And it can't be the excuse for why you're not where you want to be.
Right.
Or why you can't move forward.
It's an excuse.
The way you desire.
It is an excuse. For people who are not part of Rich Stylist Academy and are just listening to Rich Stylist Podcast, these are things we go over. We sit down and we have these hard conversations like, let's look at your marketing. Let's look at your technical skill. And we have all of these coaching courses inside Rich Stylist Academy that might be the push that you need because it's unbranded. It's really, really raw. We really take a deep look. We do, coaching calls where you are able to ask us individualized questions. The last call that I had inside a Rich Stylist Academy was so amazing. And I had so many people in my DMs after it because I'll say if this sounds like you or whatnot, we can't get to everybody's individualized story, but DM me afterwards.
Yeah.
And I will help you walk through whatever it is your challenge is.
That's the thing I think with people because sort of technically Rich Stylist is a mastermind. It's sort of a group coaching, but we're so able to offer individualized one-on-one support because of the way it is structured and the way it's set up, but also because you and I were we'll talk to you I really 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 want you to do well.
Right.
That's the whole point of this. It's the whole point of why
100%
why we're doing Rich Stylist and why you created Blue and the education is because it comes down to I know it's possible because I've done it and I've been in a situation where I maybe didn't think it was possible, but I got through it and you got through it.
We have both really started from the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But
listen, you know where my first job was? Well, first job was Bath and Body Works. Second job, Golden Corral.
Okay, you want to know my first job? I was a chocolatier.
You were a chocolatier?
I was a chocolatier.
Oh my God.
At Chocolate Factory.
Were you?
Just call me Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
It really is cute. But what I was going to say is that I think why it really connects with you and I is because we started from the bottom. We had an immensely successful extension business, and now we kind of both don't work behind the chair, and we want to give that same experience and that same lifestyle to people and let them know that it's available and it's attainable.
It's so available.
There is nothing holding you back except for you.
Yeah.
So
and that can also be a scary thought. And it doesn't matter like what business you're in, what industry, what level of business you're at. It does not. I can tell you the only person that's ever holding you back, guess what you need to do? Hold up a mirror.
Hold up a mirror. Look in the mirror. Have these hard conversations.
And that's tough. It's tough because it's really
accountability.
Easy.
I'm sorry.
It's easy to blame and be like, well, it's my location, or it's my parents, or it's my boss, or it's my partner, or it's my coworker, or it's my space. And sometimes it's a little teeny bit. Okay, great. Maybe if you like maybe move to a different salon, got a few upgrades, like up leveled your skills, but really it comes down to like the person in the mirror is what's holding you back because of the beliefs that you keep carrying.
Mindset controls all of those things. Your mindset controls your skill level.
Sure.
If you're going to go home and you're going to practice on a mannequin head every single night, extensions are muscle memory.
That's not a class. That's you making yourself.
That is you.
You are committed.
If you're going to just accept that like, oh, so-and-so down the street is better than me, and you're not going to put in the work, that starts with your mindset.
Sure.
So all of those things really do start with your mindset. Like you can take any excuse and say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. And you boil it down to the root. If you change your mind and your perspective about it, you're going to change the outcome.
Imagine if you had been in hair school, you only liked extensions, but you had the belief of, well, I honestly just can't do this at all because hairstylists don't do all services. Mm-hmm. Like I am not a hairstylist because I'm only offering extensions and that's all I like. So really I'm not a hairstylist at all. And then you hadn't done the she shed, and then you hadn't loved and grown such a deep passion for extensions, and you hadn't connected with companies and written the education for them. And then you hadn't had that stepping stone to know enough to create that next level education, creating Blue Smart Tools to have like, elevated tools for stylists. Yeah. But look at that. Because, and Bob Proctor always says, and I've mentioned this on multiple podcasts, like you can't connect the dots looking forward. Yeah. You can only connect them looking back. Yeah. So now you can look back and be like, wow, that's what led me to this. Like you have Blue and you have this great company now. And then like you can see where it came from and where it started. Yeah. And all the stepping stones led you to where you are. But you wouldn't have had any of those if you would have held on to the belief or even had the belief to begin with. I'm sure you had a moment of being in cosmetology school being like, ooh. Hairstylists do all this stuff, and look at these other people. They enjoy these services.
The moment matched with people doubting you.
Yes.
There's a lot in that. So I think that at the end of the day, it really just takes a hard conversation with yourself. And then with the accountability that you then have found, using that and driving yourself to do the work that you need to surpass all of these excuses that you've told yourself or other people have told you for a really long time.
Absolutely. We have more to say about this topic in the next episode. We're going to break it down even a little bit more about how your location should not hold you back from being as successful as you ultimately desire to be. But I want to close this episode with a recent post from one of the latest members of Rich Stylist, and her name's Shawnee. She's amazing. She's in Nevada, but not just anywhere in Nevada. She's not in Las Vegas. She's not even in Reno. She's in a town called Fallon, which is, have you heard of it?
Absolutely not.
Fallon, Nevada is not outside of Las Vegas, but it's outside of Reno, an hour outside of Reno, which is, I think I can say this, which is basically in the middle of nowhere. There's not many people who can say they live an hour outside of a town in the desert.
Right.
That's where she's at.
Okay.
And she's a person who could have had basically any excuse to not show up for herself, not do a call for Rich Stylist, not join, not do the work, because she could have used like her location, which some may say, okay, well, you're living in the middle of the desert. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. We're going to let you have that one. But she did not let it hold her back at all. Even her call for Rich Stylist, she had her 9-month-old baby on her lap. She was like, I don't have childcare.
So not only her location, but also another excuse people use is like, circumstances of family.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. My circumstances, my family, my life, my children, which again, I get it. Like it makes sense completely. I have a 6-year-old and it is
hard.
It's a lot. It's a lot to balance it all. But she shows up to the call for Rich Stylist to see if it's a fit for her. Baby on her lap, not making any excuses. And she was even like, I really just don't have childcare right now, but like I want to make my business work and I'm going to make it happen.
Amazing.
Long story short, she's a part of Rich Stylist Academy. And this is something, I'm going to read it to you, that she posted just recently. She said, you guys, I have such a win. I just booked my first $2,000 extension client.
Amazing.
$2,350 to be exact. Y'all, I never thought this was possible. She didn't even bat an eye, and she's coming in this first week of April. Thank you all for this education and encouragement. This is game-changing for my business and for my family.
Wow. How
that
empowering.
Gets me right there.
Yeah, it does.
I'm like, the family.
Yes.
Because, again, why do we make money? It's not just to make money in our bank account. It's to have a better life and have better experiences, have better choices for our family. Spend our time the way we want to spend it.
Absolutely.
So we will close it on that. And we'll come back in the next episode with some other hot topics about your location and how you can bust through those beliefs that it's not holding you back anymore. Leave a comment on my latest Instagram post and let me know what you think about the topic of this episode. Also, be absolutely sure that you are following Caitlin at Extensionologist on Instagram and also her incredible hair extension product brand, Blue Smart Tools. We'll have all the links in the show notes so you can tap to click and give her and her brand a follow. Would you like to be the highest paid hair extensionist in your city? 86% of stylists make $3,000 to $5,000 per month. But as an extensionist, you can make that kind of money in one single day. If you're already certified by one of the top companies and you want to make the most money possible with that certification, then I'd love to invite you to discover Rich Stylist Academy. This is an elite mentorship where I give you the secrets to attracting the best clients, doing the best transformations, and making the most money. Stylists in this mentorship commonly have 3K days, $10,000 months, and 6-figure years. Space is very limited as we only accept 10 stylists per month to this mentorship. Click the link and fill out the quick free application and see if it's a fit for you.